Welcome back to DuckCast, a brand new sort of format. It's going to be solo from now on, because my co-host kind of,
Hey, Zachary.
the hell?
I hear you're working the cashier.
Like, what the hell happened to you? What's
Oh,
up
yeah,
with the
man.
unibrow?
Well, the cat's kind of out of the bag now. I'm in a closet now.
Um,
They gave me a webcam, didn't
Mike, this
Tedalium
joke
tell
is
you
going
that?
a bit too far.
Yeah. So yeah, I am the same person that you've recorded with since episode 1, but I'm not necessarily like the Bemis 100 Michael that you know. You know. But I mean, the podcast has been me and you this whole time, so don't
You
worry.
can
The
cut
whole
the act now, Mike.
the fancy sim thing has been going on for a while. I'm honestly, I can't really. I'm sorry. You were limited to 3 questions. You can ask me the 3 questions, but I mean, there's a gun to. Okay, I can't say that either. Okay, never mind.
This joke is really getting too far, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's not funny at
Yeah,
this point. You could cut the act. You just take that thing right off.
let's cut the joke. Anyway, Better Call Saul. Did you see the new one?
No.
Oh,
Are we really just gonna pass over this thing?
but you said like we should drop the funny joke, right? So let's drop the funny joke. Unless you have 3 questions
I
you want to
didn't hear
ask.
from you in like a week or two, and you're coming back with this really forced bit here, and you're making me very worried.
Tedalium told you that he would give me a webcam, and I could answer, and we could answer 3 questions for you.
They also said some things about
Michael and Fancyson, right?
which I really didn't believe, and I still don't.
I mean, yeah.
Are they in on it too? Is this a whole big game? They're not really our enemies. They're just pulling a prank with you on me.
I mean, there may have been. Is that one of your questions? That has to be one. That's one. That's one. It has to be one if you want me to answer it.
I'm not really going with this game, but sure.
DuckCast
I'm just actually concerned, but
it's okay, man. I'm all right. I should be all right if we can, take care of these things.
No offense, but you don't look all right.
Listen. Sorry, my brain is just kind of mush right now. I was involved in something, and over the course of DuckCast and taking the original Michael's place, I kind of had a change of heart. All right, so I'm not your enemy, but these people are your enemy. Davidilium was pretty clear on what their motive is. And the plan is to wipe out.
What's going on here? That's not my second question, by the way. I'm just. Fuck! Don't make that the second question.
It's not the second question, but I mean, you're asking me to recap stuff that you were already told.
I'm very confused, and I don't know what to believe.
I am Mike Liam Fancyson, and Michael died like 5 years ago. This was part of a big thing to replace the non-Fancy-Sons. It was kind of an invasion. And but I had a change of heart doing the show with you for 5 years. I grew to love you and the guests, and just kind of resumed the role of Michael. I hid the unibrow all these years. I know it's a lot to take in, man, but I mean, to be honest, I feel like me and you've had some good times, and at this point, me and you are closer than you and that other.
I don't know you anymore.
I mean, you've talked to me for 95 episodes.
I've been talking to someone else for however long.
You've been talking to the other person.
Why are you so casual about this?
I'm just trying to be as light about this as possible. I don't want to scream in your face about it. That'll freak you out more.
And just you're not necessarily lying to me, but you're not being normal about this, really, either.
Well, again, there's stuff going on in this room I'm in, and I want to fucking watch what I'm saying because I'm not in my fucking house anymore like I fucking used to be throughout the whole fucking series. So I'm a little upset right now. I'm a little worried right now. So maybe you should just ask question number 2 and stop recapping stuff. Move forward with this.
Okay.
Or if you want to wait, we can do question 2 later.
No, we'll do it now. It's how do you keep the unibrow so perfectly trimmed?
That's question 2.
I'm just asking a question.
I mean, it's actually in pretty rough shape right now. I've been kind of hiding it for all these years. I mean, it's like, you know, I had kind of like a fake piece of skin I put over it.
Must have been a lot of time
it was
putting
a
into
fake
that.
It was fake skin covering the unibrow. Yeah. I also put like 2 little eyebrows on too to like have normal eyebrows. So that's question 2. What's question number 3? That was a fucking waste of a question, by the way. Jesus.
Favorite color?
Motherfucker. All right. I don't. You know what? I like other colors. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. I guess blue. Blue's a good color. And that's your last question. So you fucked up. We got to keep going to 100, man. Let's just stay calm. I do have one more piece of bad news.
You're not saying that as the threat, right? Like I have to keep recording with you for until 100? What are they going to do to me if I don't?
I don't necessarily think anything happens to you if you don't, aside from the overall plan, because there is still a Zaclium Fancy Son, and they want there to only be one of each, and preferably to them it's the Fancy Sons who live, so it might benefit you to keep doing the show.
Okay. I'll buy into
I don't know why they're allowing this. They're not fucking telling me anything anymore, and I have to watch what I fucking tell you.
I don't know if I necessarily believe you, but I'm gonna play.
Well, you don't have much of another choice
safely
right
and
now.
Just do what you say.
You don't have any other choice, really, so we're just gonna fucking go with it. Anyway,
I get to still open the episodes every episode, though, right?
Sure.
Okay, that's something.
At least until we make it. You know what? I say season 6, but oh, by the way, this is the replacement they gave me for Boner, because Boner has been put in a separate room. I don't like him.
What'd you do with Barry?
I didn't do shit to Barry. They took Barry. Anyway, I do have some tragic news that we should get to real quick just before.
More tragic than Mike is dead. Dead has been dead.
Yeah, a lot more tragic.
If you say Willie's dead, I really don't care. But
I was gonna say that Willie was assassinated, but
that's the only good news. You know, you guys aren't that bad after all. I mean, if you can kill off Willie the Moose.
Well, it's because he was trying to kill the Fancy Sons, but
I doubt that. I think he just was in the wrong place at the wrong time, like an idiot, like he usually is. What a fucking idiot.
I'm very hurt by Willie's death, and I'd appreciate if you showed a little fucking respect. Personally.
Fuck Willie.
Fuck you.
I'm not gonna say that back, because I don't know what you're gonna do to me, so I'm just gonna say, okay, master.
Let's just do an episode, alright? Let's just do a fucking episode. Let's just fucking shoot the shit like we normally do. We got movie recommends still, the guests coming on. Let's just do the fucking show, alright? So, have you seen the new episode of Better Call? I already asked you that, but I don't know.
Yeah, you already asked me that. I said no, I did not.
Okay. Shit. Fucking Animal Crossing?
I haven't turned it on yet today, and I don't really want to turn it on now, because I have to do all the daily stuff. But it's going good.
Onward?
We talked about that.
Did we?
Well, before I knew you were not who I thought you were, off camera we talked about it.
Oh.
But yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. How long are we into this episode? 10 minutes? Only 10 minutes? Okay.
Probably about 10 minutes.
We gotta speed this along,
Yeah, let's keep the
10
topic.
minutes has gone by very slowly.
Random question generator.
Okay.
Let's do it early.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Because I think we need it.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the music, by the way? Music playing on my end.
Are you okay in the head?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I don't hear anything.
I hear music. It keeps taking me to random number generator, even though I'm asking for random question generator. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we. What's the Oh wow, this is a. What's the most essential part of a friendship?
Make gifts.
Loyalty.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but I was kind of loyal. We should call this one AwkwardCast. Unless we already named one that. I don't remember. Community. Have you seen any more? You told me about the paintball episode. Have you seen any episodes since then?
I recently watched the stop motion Christmas episode.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, let's get started. Would it help if I lost the unibrow?
Don't think that'd help.
Let me, just put the... Okay, I put the skin back on. It's a little better, right?
It's disgusting.
Anyway,
I can now that you told me what it is, I can see where the lines.
So yeah, the community. So boy,
it's like that Bryan Cranston bald cap. You can now see it once you're told it's not real. You can kind of tell.
Let's talk about community. All right, let's drop that for a little bit at least, because this episode's not going to go well.
Not right in the middle, by the way. Don't worry.
Oh. So listen, the community episodes. I kind of like that you got to that point, because it kind of. I was hoping that the time would be right with both my movie recommendation and one of the episodes of Community, because one of the episodes of Community is kind of a parody of Charlie Kaufman's work, and I think it shows, because there's the episode of Abed making a very meta movie.
The Jesus movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they literally call Charlie Kaufman by name in that episode. And could you see any correlation between that and Adaptation?
I wasn't really thinking about that.
Rewatch it. It's great. It's really just some of the other Charlie Kaufman stuff, because it also kind of coincides well with Synecdoche, New York, which is a movie that Charlie Kaufman wrote and directed. Let's talk about so how did you like the season 1 finale, first of all?
I can't really remember it.
Well, there was the one where you find out that Chang was a real teacher, and
yeah,
then
I like this new arc that he's going through, where he's now the student.
Yeah.
Although the name Senior Chang is a great idea for a character.
Yeah. I like the episode where
I'm sad I would get to lose that, but.
Yeah, but I think the idea is every season it's a different class, maybe. I think that's the case. And then I love the episode where it's the family reunion and his brother is a rabbi.
Yeah.
So it's Rabbi Chang and Senior Chang, and then Rabbi Chang is telling how ridiculous Senior Chang sounds. And
I like the one of the more recent episodes I saw about the conspiracy stuff going on with Annie and Jeff and Professorson, and all the, like that final scene with like everyone thinking that they killed another with a real gun.
Oh yeah.
And just like you just don't know what's real. I really like that episode.
I haven't made it to that one in my rewatch. The last one I saw in my rewatch was this morning, which is the episode where Pierce's mom dies and he doesn't, he's part of a miracle. I swear this show is like as corny as this is, like one thing that this show accomplishes so well is it's just so fucking sweet sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like incredibly mean-spirited and hilarious, a lot of it, but it's also just like one of the most heartwarming fucking shows I've seen. I think Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas is like probably one of the most heartwarming and the most depressing episodes of the show. What did you think of that one?
I wasn't for it visually, but like once it started to get really like, okay, this is just from Abed's perspective, and like it's very meta.
There was a point to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that it wasn't just an episode with that style. There was, the whole style was like the problem in the episode. Like that was the drama. And like,
there's also some really good jokes around it. Like I love Professor Ian Duncan when he's like, they make him into like the wizard and all that. But, like at the end, like Troy like starts grabbing on to his character and says, "Hey, you're actually touching me in real life, delinquent." That's great. I really like the visuals. Like it's like, and they are kind of ugly looking stop motion characters for sure.
I was thinking like they must like it looks so good, all the sets and everything as well, and like I wonder how long it took them to make it, because like that was like the halfway-ish point for the second season, and like Pierce is in the wheelchair, so they like had to tell the animation department beforehand, like, okay, at this point you gotta make this character in a wheelchair, and also all these sets gotta be exact, and like I don't know, it's weird. Like they must have done season 1 when all this was being started to be in the works,
Yeah,
they did a pretty good job.
They are good with like following continuity even in the first season. But yeah, the second season, do you see what I'm talking about so far though, with there being like a lot more like themed episodes? And, like, the space one I fucking love. That
was a good one.
That one's coming up next, and I think that one's so funny.
So good.
I love that episode actually has an original score for it too. Like you can find like the music for that episode online.
There's also the Halloween episode, the zombie apocalypse thing. I love that one.
Great.
Like once it started to like people were actually getting bitten and infected, and blood was showing. Like it's like, okay, is this like a dream of someone's? But it's like the fact that it's all real and no one died. It's just hilarious and dark at the same time.
And again, just like ABBA being the music playing throughout the whole thing is funny too. I think now the Dean is becoming a bigger character. By season 3, he's listed in the opening sequence because he becomes bigger and bigger, and by the end of the show, he is like pretty much like just as big as any of the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Dean's hilarious. He definitely becomes a favorite near the end for me. Back to Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas. What did you think of the ending?
I like learning a bit more about Abed's story, like his background, I guess. Like prior, like in season 1, one of those earlier episodes, it was like, okay, the mom most likely divorced the dad and left the family because of Abed, and even Abed knows that, and like she even now knowing that she like went off to make her own family, a new family, it just must really hurt.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
It is, and it's like I just didn't expect it. Like Community was a show that was like definitely there's episodes where some depressing stuff happens. To me, that like actually like really fucking bummed me out after I watched it. I was like, God, that is such a sad idea.
That's probably the darkest thing they've done so far, from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely like held up as, to me, one of the best episodes. The only thing I will say about it though is it is a really bad idea to show like that. I feel like almost like most of the episodes of Community you could enjoy on their own for what they are. Like I watched a ton of episodes out of order before watching the show in order.
Mm-hmm.
But that one you cannot watch out of order. I feel like you really need the build up of like just knowing who the characters are.
Yeah.
To me, that's like the first step. Like they feel like you know, by the end of the first season, there is kind of a feel of family and friendship with the group. But that to me that is like the first episode where they like really feel like a family, like the 7. And that's what I'm saying about just being kind of like a really funny and well written show. But it's also just super fucking like sappy and touching sometimes. You got that like last shot of them watching the TV. They're still in their stop motion form, and then it's like their reflection. Mm-hmm. Just so nice. Such a good Christmas special. That's like one of the best I think out there. You're getting really
that,
close.
I saw the drunk one at the bar. I mean, the bar episode.
Or it's Troy's birthday.
Yeah.
That one's funny.
Yeah. Again, like I like the idea of them having this series that's like about people in college and they're able to feel flexible enough to do themed episodes, not being constricted to this one format. And not a lot of shows take advantage of that. And these guys, they feel very creative and just want to do a whole lot more with this show, no matter what the theme is. And it's really nice to see.
Yeah, it's great. And oh my god, there's another paintball episode coming up, but it's at the very end. But it's if you liked the first one,
I love the first one so much.
The second one is so good.
I also like the one with Jeff and Troy on the trampoline.
And then Pierce ruins it, I think.
That's where he breaks his legs.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, also the one episode where Annie is mad about losing her pen and no one knows where it went. Such a good episode.
It's such a simple premise, and they make it. There's so many episodes that revolve with them sitting in that room and talking. Mm-hmm. There's like a lot of those, and it just works every time. They're just like so well written, so well made. I kind of like talked down the show's 4th and 5th season a bit and said the 6th one was pretty good though. I've actually been watching some of them out of order. There's actually some season 4 I have not rewatched at all, so maybe I'll have a different opinion on it rewatching it. Season 5, there's like actually some pretty fucking good episodes, and I take it back. Season 5, like it's different by then, but season 5 is pretty good. I'll actually defend it. But and then season 6, like I said, like it feels like near the end it's a different show, but it's also really good stuff. I won't say. I know I should shut up about it. But
I'm so far just in the middle-ish of season 2 right now, so it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. I just don't want you to be like turned off and not watch the rest of it. But
I'm gonna think whatever I think by then and tell you what I think. You know, that's what it is. What it is.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Oh, what else is there? Because there's like you're really close to the Dungeons and Dragons episode, and I think that is one of my favorites of the entire show, and I think it probably will be for you too, if I had to guess.
Do you want to talk about the last D&D session we had with everyone? That recording will be up at some point. You know, might as well tease it a little bit, talk about your experiences as a first-time D&D-er. You know? So what'd you think?
I thought it was a ton of fun to do. I almost wonder if, like, when we were doing it, you guys, like, Teddy was the dungeon master. I almost wonder if he was, like, giving me a little bit of extra shit just because I was a first-timer.
He's very fair with a lot of people, and I think knowing that you and Brent were pretty fairly new, like, wanted to ease you guys into it, because I've been in brand new games, making brand new level 1 characters, and even telling the DM, like, I've DM'd before, but not, played the game before, but I haven't done it too much, and then they just kill off my characters, or, like, they just don't have me have that much of a good time, they don't have me interact as much, and, I don't know, Teddy's just a very fair DM, where he,
Hold on.
He's not just, like, preparing this game just to make it...
1 second.
Okay.
Sorry, what was that? Swiss. Thank you. Sorry about that. He was gonna keep you
like, he's not hell-bent on, like, making a difficult game just to make it a difficult game, like you're playing a turn-based RPG and you're not playing with other people, which, you know, the whole point is just to have fun with everyone and improvise and come up with some fun stories.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, it's Teddy knows, like, he's giving everyone the freedom to be creative and interact with each other in this one, and you can tell that.
I thought Teddy was great, honestly. I felt like everyone in that group was having... It was a good time. Like, I felt like the entire first recording session was just a lot of fun. I was afraid of it being boring. Excuse me.
I think first of all, I think we have a really good group of people that aren't very bland. We have a lot of very energetic people who want to contribute.
Yeah, and you got different backgrounds, too, which is, I think, nice, because, like, I'm not the only one who doesn't have experience. Brent doesn't either, and I think me and Brent... kind of bring a lot of humor to it in that way. Then you have Matt and Mitzi who have tons of experience. Then you and Teddy are like real life friends and you've actually played the game together before. So it's kind of a nice diverse group.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the person who called up to me was a Fancy Sin, just so you know. It was we'll say it was
way to make it awkward.
I
legitimately forgot I was talking to Mike Liam for a second.
Yeah, well, let's get back to D&D. And I had a good time, though. I had a really good time recording, and I you know, like, it sounds... I love that Gravity Falls episode, because it sounds like the most boring thing imaginable.
People make it out to be like that, because it's, like, very geeky and stats, you know, making sure about the stats, you know. But it's, like, getting all that stuff out of the way. It's, like, you know, the whole point of it is just that to be creative and, you know... You're playing a video game by yourself, but with not by yourself, but like with other people. And when it's your turn, you're doing your own thing, but also trying to work together with other people to win at the end of the day. You know.
I'm really grateful for the group, and I'm super grateful for Teddy because I would not be able to figure this shit out without him. I still am so fucking clueless, but there's a few things I remember to do now. Like now I know how to attack. Now I know.
Yeah.
Like,
there's still a whole lot of things I don't even understand, and I keep asking. And, you know, just at some point you're going to understand little by little.
Yeah, and I appreciate the group, too, just because I feel like everyone brought something either interesting or funny to it.
I'm really grateful for the group we have, honestly.
Yeah,
it's like, it's like the best. It's like the best aspect of this whole series that's coming up soon, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not like I would call anyone out if like there was like a person in the group that I thought wasn't like fitting in well. Like obviously I wouldn't be an asshole and do that, but genuinely I think all 6 of us brought something to the table, and I enjoyed it very much.
And I'm like, it's one of those groups that's like,
it's one
of those groups that
I absolutely have the worst fucking character, but I like it.
It's one of those groups too that's like, whatever you expect or don't expect, it's like you won't feel like grumpy about like, oh, I didn't see this coming, I don't really like it too much. Like no matter what's coming, you know it's going to be very entertaining and you're going to love it because all these people just whatever, like I don't know, like for Brent for example, like whatever comes out of his mouth is hilarious in my opinion. Like you just never know what he's going to say.
I think Brent was really great in the first
for
one.
Someone who didn't even do much in combat, like he gave some really great lines.
And yeah, he almost did like, and that's why I said I think everyone works in the group great. Like you and Matt kind of took initiative and like acted. And
those were like the points of our characters, though. Like playing the game, but like still staying true to your character makes the story for everyone more interesting. Yeah. You know.
Brent delivered on a lot of comedy, though, and it's not that you two didn't deliver on any comedy. I think everyone did. Brent delivered on a lot of comedy. Mitzi definitely seems to have put so does Matt, and you too. But you too. I feel like Mitzi and Matt just have thought of their characters so much. Like they put so much into it, and your character definitely feels like he has that too. I would assume that this is a newer character for you.
Yeah, brand new.
And the other 2 characters feel like they've been around for a while. They're just making it.
I like the idea of like not too much, like a simple backstory for a character, but like their experiences and their story starts in, you know, the game, not like so many past experiences happen off camera.
Yeah. I almost feel guilty because it almost feels like my character is like a fuck you character, but I do feel like we're. I feel like
It gives a different sort of tone, which is good.
Yeah. I think it's good to have like a more silly character in there too. I think Brent's is kind of silly too, but it's just like a different kind of silly. I don't even know. Like Dallas Tower. That does not sound like something that Brent would do unironically. Oh,
I just think of Star
and I
Fox.
love the design that he has. I love the design that he has and his embrace. And Mitzi also brings that frog character, which has been a lot of fun. Duke the Frog. Very
he sexualized
adorable.
that frog a couple times, from what I remember.
Yeah.
That's something that happened.
My favorite part of the recording... I'll give my favorite self-indulgent part, and there's no context to this. It'll just be funny if you're listening. Either you're listening to this after, and it's like, oh, I remember that, or you're listening to it before, and you're like, what the fuck is he talking about? So it's no context here. My favorite self-indulgent moment is me killing someone with intimidation.
Your very first turn in D&D was killing someone just by trying to intimidate them. You weren't even trying to kill them, you were just trying to intimidate. And Teddy was like, because of how well you rolled, which was very high, Teddy was like, okay, well, this character's dead from a heart attack.
That was amazing. And then my other one was, my favorite non-self-indulgent moment was
when
the
you missed.
funeral.
Wait, what?
My favorite non-self-indulgent part was the horse funeral.
Yeah, the horse funeral. It reminded me of that one skit. It reminded me of that one skit I showed you once of like the people playing the game where they didn't want to go with what the DM said. They want to open their own tavern throughout the entire DVD and not play the actual game fighting monsters. Like for us, it was just like, no, we don't want to move forward. We want to hold a funeral for these horses.
We gotta have moments like that,
for
sure. I was low key thinking about that almost the entire campaign, like because I kept like thinking, should we do something like that? And then it just happened naturally. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I love the moment where you come in to help me take out an enemy and you miss, and you're just there like congratulating yourself, like, yeah, I did it, I tried, and I'm just Fenno's my character.
No,
just there like judging you.
His head in shame.
Yeah.
You were sitting there sadly after that, and you were just making fun of me.
I was just like fucking with this guy. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. I am glad that I went with a Tarantino / Slippin' Jimmy character rather than a Doug Walker, because I was very tempted to do a Doug Walker character. Speaking of which, that brings us to our next topic: Nostalgia Critic of the Wall.
Let me just say real quick, the series will come out eventually on this channel. It's going to be called Dungeons and Duckies.
And there's going to be a lot more visuals to it than I initially planned, because people are just making shit for it, and now I'm getting ideas, and there'll be some fun stuff going on the screen with these. Probably going to be 20 minutes long, and I'm going to try to, Mitzi says she's going to start working on the digital drawings tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So yeah, hopefully soon. I'm thinking 20-minute long episodes, and it can be a little shorter above based on a good ending point. Mm-hmm. But 20 minutes is going to be like the range for me. It's like if I'm like a few minutes before 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is still a good ending spot. I'll end it there. Or if I'm like a little over 20, I'll be like, okay, I need to keep going, but wrap it up.
Yeah.
Basically, that'll be the mindset. I'm looking forward to it though. This is going to be a fun project.
Yeah, and we're recording more this Saturday.
Yep.
For even more episodes.
This is great.
Yeah, it's a good stuff. Good stuff we got going on here. So movie discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. So you went first last time and the time before, so I guess I'll go first this time.
Mm-hmm.
Last episode I recommended Adaptation by Spike Jonze, Spike Jonze, but the movie was also written by Charlie Kaufman, which I don't normally mention. Maybe I should, but in this case, I feel like it's very important to mention Charlie Kaufman, because the movie is about Charlie Kaufman right in the movie that you are watching, and it's very much an autobiography up to a point. You can kind of see the scene where all of that changes and it becomes more of a fiction, but I think it's presented in a very clever way. And just as one more fun little side note, just to just to give context of who these people are. I don't normally do this, but I kind of feel like it for them. Spike Jonze and Charlie Kaufman have collaborated on movies before. They did Being John Malkovich together. They may have done another one together, but I can't remember. And now both have kind of gone off to make their own movies. Charlie Kaufman has done Synecdoche. Like, Charlie Kaufman was the writer and Spike Jonze was the director. But now both of them, like, Spike Jonze is writing his own script. Like, Her was his own script and his own directing. And Charlie Kaufman has done Synecdoche, New York. And Anomalisa, I think that these two are two of the most brilliant people in filmmaking right now. And it takes forever for shit to come out because, one, the industry doesn't really support them all that well. And two, although Spike Jonze probably benefited by some Oscars. I think Her won some stuff. But yeah, I love this movie. I'm kind of rambling now. Zachary, what did you think of Adaptation?
At the end of the day, I really liked it, and it like, it's a very mindfuck kind of movie. You don't really know what's going on, and like you can tell from like the moment he like gets that advice from that mentor type of character, like everything could pretty much just be a dream from then on, and like shit just starts escalating so quickly.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting movie. I don't really know what to think of it, but I know I liked it, and it's funny. I like that one of those ending lines of like, I wonder who's gonna play me in the movie, voiced by Nicolas Cage. But yeah, it was a fun movie.
Yeah, I do think it's fun too. Like, I think that there is a lot to it when you watch. The more it stays in your head, the more you kind of think about it, and the more things you pick up on it with it. But I also think it is like, it's fun. It's not just like a artsy, preachy movie. There's a lot of good comedy with the character Donald Kaufman, who is completely fictional, by the way. There's a nice little thing from him in the credits saying in love and memory of Donald Kaufman, but Charlie Kaufman does not have he might have a brother, but he does not have a twin brother named Donald Kaufman. So
I like the idea of the character, though, just kind of this mirror version of himself, what he wants to be.
And it adds a lot of likability to the movie that's missing, because Charlie Kaufman paints himself as an incredibly unlikable character up until a point. Because all he's doing is you just hear what he's thinking of himself in his own head, and seeing how like kind of mean-spirited he is to everyone he talks to, including his brother, who only wants the best for him.
Yeah.
So Donald Kaufman like helped the movie significantly, I think, as a character, because I think without him it would have just been like just too much of a buzzkill the entire time, and like kind of annoying. But I think with Donald Kaufman in there, you can enjoy Charlie Kaufman a lot more as a character.
Yeah. I also really liked LaRouche, his character. Like, once his backstory came in, that flashback scene of like that car accident, like you really felt for the guy.
Oh yeah, he was great. Meryl Streep was great. They were both great in this. And yeah, I think that I think he's very likable. She, I would say, is likable. Obviously, she cheated
on her husband.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a bad thing to do, but it doesn't completely remove all the humanity in you. I think it's more so that like last scene with her that kind of ruins it for her. He clearly feels really bad about what he's doing. She kind of makes the decision very easily. By the way, that's a real person, a real writer who did not know how he was going to interpret her in the movie, because Adaptation was an adaptation of that book, which is a real book written by that author who portrayed by Meryl Streep as a real person. And I think she took the movie very well. I don't think she got angry about it, but that's the movie, like, is like he was trying to adapt that book into a movie. I could very much believe that scene with the college, like the professor, the teacher, was a real thing that happened. I don't know if it happened exactly like that. There's obviously, I mean, you know, there's room for adaptation, and you question what is real and what isn't real. But I think up until like the ending and Donald Kaufman being in the movie, you can pretty much say a lot of it is an autobiography. You could even argue that Donald Kaufman is a side of him that he doesn't show him as, like, it is like another side of Charlie Kaufman that we don't see from his character, because it's like almost like his left brain and right brain.
It's very interesting you say all this too, because like I didn't even know that it was based on a true story at all. I thought it was completely fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So that just gives me a whole new perspective on it.
I think that's what the whole point of it is. It's just like, you know, at one point he, you know, as he's like writing this movie, Charlie Kaufman, the writer, he at one point just like starts pulling out his recording, saying the film opens with Charlie Kaufman like starts actually
bunch
saying
of times during that film he doesn't know how to open it.
Yeah,
struggles,
and he pretty much says exactly how it opens at one point, and it becomes meta. And a lot of people find meta stuff to be really annoying. Even the Community episode that we talked about earlier. Though. Yeah, I think it just depends. I think if you can do it, and you can do it well, it's great. I think if you do it as a little joke, that's great. There are some people who get very annoying with meta shit. I think it can get like, I think someone can do it just out of like a lack of originality. So like say, okay, let's make some self-referential joke, or let's be self-aware of what we're doing. To justify, like, you can't use it as a means to justify something. You have to do it because there's actually like something, there's like a reason, there's a point, and there is a point. There's like, that's the whole point of adaptation, and I think it works very well. Yeah, I really love it. And I watched it again just like a few hours ago, just in preparation for this, and yeah, still love it. I'm glad you got something out of it.
Yeah.
I love that fucking last shot too, by the way, like where they play so happy together and you just see like the flowers. Like,
I didn't know what that meant though.
I don't know. I don't really know what it means either. I do kind of like how it's like you hear the trumpets playing and then like the flowers are kind of going up and down almost as if it is like a trumpet playing. I thought that like was pretty nice with it. But it's, to me, it's just a really, really nice looking time lapse scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really like it. There's some really pretty shots in it. Like, there's some shots like I've never seen anyone pull off like this before. Like the bees going onto the flowers.
Yeah.
So detailed, so nice to look at.
I wonder how they got them to be attracted to the flowers like that. Didn't look like they had any honey on them or anything.
Man, I don't know.
The flowers looked like actual flowers when they were clearly custom. I don't know.
They could have just gone out into nature and, you know, maybe they set up a shot and they were patient. They went into a spot that is flooded with bees and they had a small camera that wouldn't interfere with them. Although I'm not sure if you're supposed to have that type of technology around bees. That might be bad for them. I don't know. I know like cell phone towers are bad for them. I don't know. Having a camera near a bee would be a bad thing. I know we're talking about two different things. I just don't know if you're supposed to have technology near them. But yeah, like it's just such a pretty looking movie sometimes. My God,
kind of reminded me of that Adam Sandler movie you recommended once with Philip Seymour Hoffman. Something like that. I don't know. Just like this depressed kind of character going through this adventure.
Yeah. You, by the way, I forgot to mention this last time. Do you know who voiced Max in last week's recommendation?
Who voiced Max? Oh, I looked online. Philip Seymour Hoffman or someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a good performance. I had no idea it was him until after watching. I mean, the first time watching it, I knew when I recommended it to you. But
I remember I was looking online for the, the last episode's title. I didn't know if it was like the word "and" or that little symbol for "and." I just want to make sure because I'm very OCD about that. So I just looked up the name of the movie and the cast comes up on the side. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. I just thought that was
that was a very independent kind of film too, with not like a big cast behind it, so it's very interesting. Yeah,
for sure. Philip Seymour Hoffman is in Charlie Kaufman's movie Synecdoche, New York, and he's brilliant in it. And that was kind of like I don't want to say, I don't know, like definitely didn't feel like a low budget movie. I forget what the budget for it was though, but they accomplished some pretty amazing stuff with whatever the budget for that was. But what else was I going to say? I do like how some of the sets are kind of like come back in different ways too. Like you have kind of the creek, and it's kind of like a pretty looking scene when they're going through and trying to find that flower.
Yeah.
The orchard. And then
how it transitions to the end where it's just like where I'm going to die.
It's like such a
and it makes it even creepier when it's like, the screenwriter, he's been so obsessed with this book and he probably read over scenes about that so many times with them in the swamp. and like never did he once think like, yeah, this is going to be the place where I get murdered by the person who wrote the book that I'm now reading.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that just flips. But of course, that's probably his imagination just going wild at the second half there.
Imagine writing a book. Imagine writing a book about flowers, being told someone's going to adapt it to a movie, going to the premiere and seeing this. I think like what maybe worked about it, as someone who has not read the book that it is based off of, I think what it may have been is just like, I don't know, maybe the book is about like finding something new and interest in something to be passionate about, because that's kind of how Charlie Kaufman describes it in the movie. Or at least looking, maybe not even being passionate about something, but looking for something to be passionate about. And maybe like a movie like this just reflects the message of the book properly. So maybe it actually really isn't a bad adaptation in that sense. Because it is a weird book he's trying to adapt into a movie. And I think he knows that, but he had to find the proper way to make it into a movie. And without that one voice at the end, that one teacher shouting at him, he probably would have made the most pretentious, unwatchable thing ever. Like Donald Kaufman maybe wasn't in the original draft of the script or whatever, and it was just going to be like miserable to watch. Who knows? I think part of the fun of this movie is questioning what is real and what is.
That certainly is the question of the night, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? Black Mirror?
Yeah. I didn't rewatch this one. It's been a while since I watched this. I only saw it the one time, but I remember really enjoying it. It's called Nosedive. It's a Black Mirror episode. It's kind of like in a world where everyone... So it's like how in social media everyone, like, there's certain people that when they receive likes on Facebook, they feel better about themselves and they feel like they're more important. In this world, you literally are connected to this network with other people, and you like and dislike them, rate them really. And if you get high ratings, you get more opportunities in life, and if you don't, you could be homeless, you could be whatever, you're just an outcast from society. And it's just this metaphor of just how society kind of works. We live in a society, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, it's also very comedic and not as deep and everything as it is. It's got a very non-likable / likable character in it as the main lead, and yeah, just a very fun story with a very funny ending.
Yeah, I like the ending. I really liked it. I am glad that you kind of pointed out that it is mainly just a comedy, because I like agree completely. Like, I mean, like, not like there's definitely a message. There's definitely something. Yeah. There's something to it. I think the message is so transparent within 1 minute of watching it. What it is about, what it's criticizing, but it does take a more lighthearted approach. It is a lot more of a comedy than the other episodes I've seen so far, and it was very enjoyable. It's not one It's not one that I'm dying to rewatch anytime soon, like the other ones are. Yeah, but it is. It was funny. It was like I do think that the characters in this one are a couple of them are a lot more likable. The brother is like not likable or unlikable. He's kind of right about what he's saying, but at the same time, he's not like, I don't know. There's like there's a middle ground that he's not reaching. But the one woman in the truck is really likable, who picks her up. The main character you can see that there's a likable side to her, like when her friend calls her.
I just love all the people that are obsessed with this whole network thing, or just people with clearly like some mental problems going on with them. And there are people like that IRL that actually consider this stuff very important. That and I don't know, I just think it's more of just like a message to them, just kind of get your head out of your asses and look at reality.
Yeah, and
there's more things that are more important.
That is a good point.
This image of you online and this fake persona that you want to pursue to become part of these cliques and groups.
I agree, and that's actually a really good point, because I told you that I just kind of see it as a comedy, but at the same time, yeah, it's kind of preaching to the choir with me and you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's I guess like, I do like it when a YouTube video gets more views than a video. I like it when my YouTube videos get watched by people. But I think overall, like the whole online experience, what's been so enjoyable about it can go back to our D&D discussion just a few minutes ago. Like it's like the experience of getting to know everyone. It's the experience that we all got to share because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what these people have is just completely meaningless, complete bullshit. Up to the point like this marriage feels like the most bullshit thing too. You don't know these two people really well at all, but you can just see it. It's bullshit. Yeah. It's a loveless marriage. And I guarantee you that somebody watched this episode who watched and said, yeah, this is such a good point, who is just as guilty as anyone in that episode. Yep. Because that's like such a big thing.
I feel like that's something that the show sometimes tries to make the viewer like get shocked with. Like sometimes if they are guilty of that, they can kind of reflect and work on themselves a bit better. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like that's really the point sometimes of like these episodes, in my opinion.
And I think that the one scene with the one woman picking her up in her truck is one of the best examples of that, just because it's like up to this point I could just see so many people saying, oh yeah, I see the commentary, oh yeah, like, and then that I feel like this one woman who's talking, she feels like she's like the one genuine part of the episode, aside from the ending scene, which is a different type of being genuine. But the ending's more of just the relief of being able to say whatever the fuck you, and finally, even though they're in jail cells, they're free. But yeah, it's like but that to me, it's like the one genuine scene in the entire episode, that truck scene. I think that's like the one scene that maybe could get someone who's being a hypocrite watching the episode and agreeing with the message to maybe see the error of their ways a little bit.
I really like that you didn't see her fail up until a point where it's just about or right before she kind of changes. Like you can see at a certain point she does change, and by the end of the episode you kind of do feel very, I don't know, this weight getting lifted off of you. I don't know, as if you were this character throughout the whole thing and having all this weight on your shoulders, and I don't know, just seeing how free she was by the end of it is very satisfying.
Weirdly enough, yeah, this is probably like the happiest ending out of any of the Black Mirror episodes we've talked about, and it ends with her stuck in a cell for God knows how long.
Yeah.
I mean, she got the thing removed from her eye, too, so I mean, I am seriously questioning how long is she going to have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of doubt it would be a life sentence, but I don't know how this...
Who knows with a world like this?
Yeah. I actually thought, and I'm so glad this didn't happen, because I thought it, like... I try to be open-minded with Black Mirror episodes. I kind of felt the same way watching White Bear, because I was like... I thought it was going in a certain direction. I'm like, okay, this is, like, not that great. And then it totally... And this one, the only thing I can say is it didn't go where I thought it was going to go, and I'm so grateful, because I genuinely thought for a bit it's going to be like, what if their score goes down to a 2? Are they going to like kill you? Do you die? Do you get like? Are you not seen as like good for society? So you're killed? Because it was just the way the guy was reacting and kind of panicking. I'm like, is that what they're doing? I was like, that's stupid. I don't want to.
We've talked about this topic before on the podcast in movies that touch about this topic, but like this is just another one. Cancel culture. This is clearly another opportunity to bring that up again. Like they're clearly talking about that too.
I think because it's like you can't be honest or express who you are without some sort of negative backlash. I actually want to bring up someone real quick, and that person is because like the difference between getting kind of tired. There's a big difference between being kind of tired of someone and actively wanting to see them fail. A good example, I think, is Ethan Klein from H3 Productions. I'd say like when this show started, I had like the highest opinion of the guy. I loved all of his videos. I pretty much said he was like one of my favorite YouTubers. And in more recent episodes, if I ever bring him up, it's not like super negative, but it's also like I don't really like what he does anymore. I find it very uninteresting, and I've lost touch of it. But a lot of people share that perspective, and any time he makes a fuck up or mistake, like people really blow it out of proportion. It's like,
There's this one controversy that I heard recently where he was called out for not giving money to something or whatever, or not. I don't know. And then he eventually did give a lot of money to a charity or something, and people are still giving him shit. I don't really understand that too much.
If we're thinking about the same thing, it's a little different. He actually got called out by a YouTuber that I like, named Some Ordinary Gamer.
Okay.
We could be talking about two different things, but it was like he basically made false accusations in the video. Again, I like Some Ordinary Gamer. I've been following him for years, but he did fuck up, and he did make a video. He removed the two videos, and he did make a video apologizing, saying, "Yeah, I fucked up. This is my bad." And cool. Hopefully, everyone can drop it now. But it's just like, yeah, it was like it was an unfair attack on Ethan. And the thing is, like, I don't connect with Ethan anymore. I don't find Ethan funny anymore. But I also don't have a single ill wish towards the guy at all. I don't want him to fail. I want him to keep thriving. Do what makes you happy. If he Ethan has acted like a douche before, and I've seen a clip of him even his response video to this, he opens it in a very irritating way. I watched the whole thing because I wanted to hear his side of the story, since I was supporting the guy who was calling him out. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fucking Ethan's right about pretty much, I will say almost pretty much every point he makes in the video, but he opens it in such an arrogant and annoying way. But I also don't think that should ruin him, That shouldn't I don't want people to attack him because of that. I think that you can criticize him. I think that you can say, I'm not really into what he does anymore. But so many people, when they get that mindset on someone,
a lot of people
they want to do the downvote. They want to do the mass downvote like the people in this episode.
A lot of people make it be like, well, I personally went through this experience and I wouldn't want that in anyone, so this person should be, they can die for all I care. No such thing as rehabilitation in any way in their minds. It's a very toxic mindset, just as bad as the people they're criticizing, in my opinion. And,
Also, sometimes it's just not that big of a fucking deal. Sometimes someone acts a little arrogant or a little douchey, and someone wants them to fucking suffer for that. And it's like, you can criticize someone for that. You can say, yeah, I can't really connect to their content anymore. But if all someone is doing is just saying shit and is kind of acting like a douchebag, that's not, I don't know. I mean, that's a reason to not like someone. That's not a reason to try to, ruin someone.
Yeah.
Unless they actually did something. They actually physically did something or, seriously hurt someone. You shouldn't, try to fucking tear them down. And I think the only thing Ethan has done is acted like an annoying person in some of his videos. That's the only thing I think he's guilty of, and I don't watch him anymore because of that. But I also seriously have nothing but, best wishes for the guy. I'm just not going to support his work anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe he'll have a comeback. Maybe he'll have a comeback and I'll grow into like his stuff again. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So, I was open-minded enough. I got to have a full podcast with you. Still, everything's on the back of my mind, just so you know. I'm sure you felt the tension at times. I don't really think you care. I don't think your people really have the ability to care.
My people?
Yeah.
What the fuck did you just say? What do you mean, my people? You people.
You heard me. You people.
No, okay. So, look, here's the deal. I gotta keep on the down low a little bit throughout these last episodes. We're gonna do them.
Yeah, you were getting yelled at a few times during this episode. Are they okay? Are they okay with you?
We're gonna figure some shit out. All right, they know I'm not on their side, so it doesn't hurt me to say this. We're gonna figure something out.
I don't believe you when you say that, by the way, but go on.
I'm not against you. I was made into a clone. I had to take out the original Michael. I was born into it.
You had to take out the original Michael. You didn't have to kill anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't.
I was born into it. You can't really get angry at me for something that I was brainwashed into.
So, how can I just believe you? All right, you want to play the victim card and just me to be sympathetic towards you? That's not how
not really
things work.
To be a victim card or anything like that. I'm just saying that you've talked to me a lot longer than the other Michael, and that we can work something out. Okay.
I think you're manipulating me in some way.
We just gotta wait it out to the very end. And if you don't trust me, that's fine. I don't really blame you for not trusting me anymore. But just wait until we make it to the end. Anyway, we gotta do these last 4 episodes, man. We can take care of the fancy sins.
Yeah, okay.
And if that means taking care of me in the process, so be it.
Fine. Don't think you're gonna make it out of this, Willie, scot-free. You have bills to pay like everyone else.
Not really, not right now.
It's a metaphor.
Okay. It's a really shitty metaphor.
I know, it was the best thing I could come up with, and it wasn't that good.
We have a special guest next episode who will also be joining.
That's not fun. That's not nice to say.
What do you mean?
Don't call him special guest. It's a terrible joke. Anyway.
It's good old Teddy, who was on, I think, in season 4.
Was it? Yeah, I think it was in the last season for the first time on the whole show. Yeah, he's coming back. And
we will be doing movie recommendations because all 3 of us are willing to recommend something.
So who wants to do the recommendations first?
What?
Who wants to do their recommendations first?
You go first, and then I'll say what Teddy's and mine is.
So, I watched this documentary probably like 10th or 11th grade for like psychology class, and I haven't seen it since, but I remember really liking it, and it was always in the back of my mind. And earlier today, I see this thing on Netflix, and it has a similar name, and I'm clicking on it. Is it the same one? Same documentary? Which, by the way, it's a documentary. And, yeah, it's the same exact one, and I still really like it. It's called Catfish.
I've heard of Catfish, yeah.
It's very, very good.
I actually have heard this is good. Okay, cool.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I've heard about this one for a while, actually. I'm looking forward to that.
It's a 2008 film, I believe. Or maybe 2009.
All right.
I don't know. Anyway.
Cool. So Teddy's recommendation is an animated film called 9, which is on Netflix. It's a CG animated film.
Is it the number 9 or the word 9?
It's the number 9.
Okay.
And I actually saw this movie a few months ago, so I'm all ready for it. I'm gonna either rewatch it or skim it, just to catch myself up. I may just rewatch it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 9. It's an interesting watch. We'll definitely have a conversation about that in the next episode. And my recommendation, I'm gonna go a little easy on. We have 3 recommendations. It's a short film that I've actually recommended on the show before, but as a YouTube video, and we still did those. And I think you've seen it before, Zach, and you mentioned that you liked it. I don't know if it's going to be a super long conversation, but I think that I'll have something to say about it. I think visually you guys will at least have something to say about it.
What is it?
And it's a short film called Ring of Fire. And yeah, I feel like if you actually have seen it, I think you will recognize it when you look it up.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I'll send a link because there might be several videos of that name.
Gotcha.
There probably will be. There's actually a pretty famous song with that name. So yeah, those are the recommendations.
Okay.
Let me get the shit off my face.
I hear the peeling. Just pops out like that, like an afro after you take off the hat. Like, oh boy.
Yeah.
You should really consider shaving it off or something. I mean,
I could do that.
Not many people are comfortable enough with having a unibrow.
Yeah, well, it's fancy, son.
I mean, if you say you're not with them, they wouldn't mind if, like, you shave it off anyway.
Fancy sin by blood, though. I don't know if I can change who I am, Zach. I can try.
I'm gonna end the episode, okay? Just don't do anything off camera. Okay, Zach.
Okay.
Thanks. Jesus.